what's up?
Red Panda Anthem.
Red Panda, what's good?
Red Panda Anthem.
Your boy.
Going up. I know they can't stand it.
Okay, let's do something that we haven't done in
We good on the heights, y'all. We good in the heights. Trust me.
Let's do something that we haven't done in a while.
Stay that way.
Can we go through 20 companies?
Yeah. Troy, you want to show, and I'll throw a couple at you, and then we can.
Yeah. I'm gonna give you the joint right now. Here you go.
Let me change my settings real quick.
Oh, this has been a minute. Let's do this.
Yeah. I know everybody in Red Panda. Like, hold on. Let me make sure I got the right settings. Let me get my settings right, because I know let's come back to it. Let's come back to it.
All right, so let's talk about this then while we're waiting for that. Let's talk about portfolio construction. So you recently stated that if you have a well-constructed portfolio, you should never be down. So what exactly did you mean by that? And how do you construct a portfolio that does not lose?
Man, I'm gonna be honest. It's not easy. So if you guys have read Money Master the Game, shout out to everybody in Red Panda who sent me like the excerpt where he talked about 2022 probably being a tough year. So I want you guys to write this down. And this is something I asked Stock Club this past weekend. How many stocks did you have for the long term, hypothetically? Put that in chat first. And I covered this at InvestFest. Then the second tier, how many swing trades are you going to have for the year? Then how many long-term investments in crypto are you going to have? Number 4, how many swing trades in crypto will you have? And then how many intraday trades are you going to have? So if you have because when they say diversification, they don't mean having retail, automotive, insurance, gold, etc. Like, you need to have a portfolio that no matter what happens in any market is calibrated to be able to win. Some of you have used the UVXY as a way to hedge. Some of you have done VIX futures or VIX products to offset it, but you have to look at your portfolio in advance. You have to prepare before the storm comes and say, okay, if everything goes to hell in a handbasket, how will I be able to make money? Long-term investment first, swing trade stocks, long-term crypto, swing trade crypto, long-term futures, swing trade futures and intraday. And that's a way you can calibrate your portfolio to not be down. I want to say this, regardless of what you invest in, investing in just one thing is a mistake. It's the worst number in business. My mentor used to always tell me, like, one of anything is bad. Unless it's a wife, because you don't want to get divorced.
One's too close to none. That's what Floyd said.
That's real.
What was he talking about?
It's real.
Yes.
Right? So you have to be very careful. If you only are leaning on one thing, when you have drawdown, you have to be able to print money regardless of what the market or economy is doing. So please be careful with that. But that's a blueprint. Long-term swing trade. So like, if your long-term portfolio is getting beat up, you should be shorting to the downside or swinging to the downside to offset the losses that you have.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's tough. It's not easy. I'll tell you that.
Yes.
That's not easy
at all.
Yeah, that's like
but it beats being down and almost quitting. Because let's be honest, when we as Black people lose in the market, we may stay away 6 or 7 years.
Yeah, we're out. We out. It's like we put our toe in there. It didn't work out right, and now we're never coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That usually is the formula.
What is the 4-part blueprint to building an edge in short-term investing or trading?
So please write this down. Number 1, you have to have a ridiculous. All business is math and psychology, right? So you need to have a huge risk to reward ratio. So you want to risk $1 to make 11. That's one of my favorites. And Jess talked about it with Forex. The same thing when she was on the Stock Club call last week and on Market Mondays. We need to have her back next month. Or you want to risk 1 to make 25. Even if you're not a good trader, if you are risking $1 to make 25, you can lose 3 or 4 times. And when you finally hit, you're good, right? I found when people are scalping, they're trying to risk $1 to make 1. The risk tolerance is too low, and that ends up being gambling. So number 1, you want to do that. Number 2, I don't see enough people do this. I need you to back test your strategy to know how it will work in every market. So for those of you that trade futures or options, I need you to go through 20 years of data on a thing that you're trading on the day chart and go through every single day and see if your strategy will work every single day. What happened last couple of years, right? We had momentum to the upside because of quantitative easing, But if you study 2007, 2008, 2009, 02, 01, you'd have been prepared for this. 99 ran up to the, like this market from last year looks like 99. It looks like we're entering 2000 and 2001 right now. So if you really want to have a huge edge, it's like if you can only play basketball in like a well-lit gym with perfectly waxed floors and new Jordans, you can't hoop. You have to be able to play in every condition. So you have to know if the market is trending really hard to the upside, can you make money? If it's trending really hard to the downside, if we're flat, if we're in war, if there is a limit up on a bunch of products, can you still make money? You have to back test the hell out of your strategy. Number 3, pick the number of trades for the year and do not deviate from it. I'm gonna be real.
Tough.
It's tough, but it's worse than losing all your damn money.
Also true.
And I'll say, when I overtraded, boy, I was crying like Trey from Boys in the Hood swinging that air. You ever lost $22,000 and then you have no good reason? Well, how you lose? Well, I deviated, but I shouldn't have, but you met. No. So the lessons that I share with you guys are from my personal experience. And when we see people get on great runs, like the runs you guys have gotten on, combination of consistency. For those of you who were there at Apollo, when he put up that billboard of what he made, right? Limited number of trades. I don't know any traders that make a lot of money, whether retail or institutional, that are taking more than 40, 50 trades in a year. Most of them are really like 4 to 15. It's not that many good opportunities. It's just like hooping. Like, how many ball players do we know that take shots and they're guarded, and as soon as they shoot it, you know that they're going to miss? Wait to take shots that you know that you cannot miss. That's number 3. And then number 4, you have to only trade your setup. So for me, even if you don't like 2 tech, 2 index, at least I have a formula that I'm sticking to. You shouldn't hop around and do options one day, NFT one day. You want to sell weed one day. You want to rap one day. You have to pick one definitive lane, master that, stick to that setup, and don't deviate. So if you're trading off the sniper EMA, stick with that. The setup that I have is what gave me this crystal ball. There are other ways I could trade, but once you master one thing, and that's why I always go back to everything is relatable. They have one SKU of product. Why? Because it's working. If they had 84 sayings, the sales wouldn't be as good. You know the sales good because the boy keep aligning. I ain't never seen Rashad Troy online ever. Glowing. One SKU, one setup, one strategy, and you can win. And you'll be good. Those are the 4 things you need to do to be able to have an edge in short-term investing. And if you do that, you'll make a hell of a lot of money. And if I made you money, please put yes in chat.
Yes, put yes in chat. You ever bowled in Jordan?
No.
Kind of a heavy shoe. I don't think I've ever seen you play bowling, Jordan.
No,
that's not you.
What is the key to success? We all give one. Okay, so what's the key to success?
I want you to go.
Yeah.
Because I hit you yesterday. I didn't hear from you all day. My bad, man. I've been editing 10 hours. I said, oh, you going back to the Just Blaze guru. Okay. Right?
Yeah.
So I share, like, because I think that's a great lesson that people need to hear, because I think people think all that we do is party.
Yeah, for sure. I always say these 2 things: consistency and originality. Consistency and originality. And, that might sound a little generic, but it's true. And that's just something that I realized, as far as for me, that's always been, something that has always, propelled me, is my ability to have an imagination and to think outside the box and to see things that's not really, there yet. So that's being an artist. I look at myself more as an artist than a business person. And then the consistency. And, consistency is actually, being able to do it every single day for long periods of time. It takes a lot. It takes a special talent to actually just be able to concentrate on something for a very long period of time, and block out everything else that's going on. So, yeah, like I told you, I was back. I'm back. I think my best, talent right now is to create content. And I got away from that. We doing so much stuff, but that's how it originally started for me, was staying up till like 4:00 in the morning in my parents' house, sleeping on their couch and just making content on my phone, sleeping in my apartment, making content on my phone. and just learning. Like I learned how to edit myself, learn different apps, learn how to speed up videos, how to cut videos. I learn all of that on myself, by myself, learned it on my cell phone. So, I just realized that, I want to go back to that. Like we still use other people to have content for us, but I just like to have my posts on content. I think content is extremely important. So I was up like 10 hours yesterday just making content for the Steve Harvey episode, just going through the episode myself, looking at little things and tweaking little things, like literally and we got the new kids channel that we about to drop. Shout out to my niece Blessing. So EYL Kids, that's something that, I really want to be hands-on with that. So it's like starting all over again. So going through the content, it's like Kanye going back, like when he said locking yourself in the basement for 5 summers, whatever that line was. Like, that's how it is. Like, I feel like, it's a producer like going back in there and acting like you just started, like it's day one. So that's one of the keys. That's a major key right there. And I feel like, not enough people can actually do that. And that's why I like, living in New York, because it's like we go to Miami, we go to LA, we go to Atlanta. It's a lot of distractions. We get distracted a lot. We go out, we clubbing every single night. But when you get back to New York and get back home, especially where we live, it's like back to reality. And it's not like a lot of distractions. And it just gives you time to just, kind of like focus. It's back to like reality. So, that to me is my keys to success for sure.
I'm gonna add one more to that. So it's always a consistency, right? But it's persistence too. Like we never stop. Like everybody's like, yo, y'all never stop. We never stop, because we're always in the pursuit of the next thing. And so like people are still trying to, like, yo, that was so great what you did. And they're kind of like, yo, you guys are so humble about it. I'm like, because we're literally in the pursuit of the next thing. Like we're looking at December while people are talking like, yo, hey, what are we going to do next weekend? You know what I'm saying? Like we're planning for next year already. And so we're always in constant pursuit of being better and being greater, right? There's no limitation on success. And so there's no limitation on what we will do to get there, because we're always in pursuit of it. And so as long as we got that hunger, obviously with the consistency, it's a dangerous match. That's why I really feel like, yo, when they like, yo, who's the competition? I don't think there's one. We never look at anybody as competition, because we're always in pursuit of being better than what we were yesterday. Yeah. So those two things, plus the persistence and the constant pursuit of being greater, I think those are keys.
And it happened. I'll say this one too. It happened a few times in my life. One time I was down. I was down a few times. One time I was down.
I was there, bro.
And I had to come back. I dug myself in a pretty deep hole. I had to come back. I didn't cry about it though. I moved back in with my parents, and I played the Drake album. I've been in the crib with the phones taking no calls. Like I was playing that, and I was up to like 3 o'clock in the morning, cut the blinds. Like that's before I was doing this. That's when I was a financial advisor, and I was back on my feet. And then I was back on my feet. And then when we started this, when I was doing this, and it was like I would just be playing music. Like I'd just be playing music, staying up to like 4 o'clock in the morning for like 3 years. And that's where I do my best work, when I can like concentrate, like need like cemetery silence. And now I'm back on that. Obviously, I'm not in that same financial state that I was, but I'm back on that type of vibe where it's like, it's like Rocky. I feel like you're about to train for a fight. Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta let your hair grow, cut the shades off, and just vibe out. Yeah. And so it feels good though. It feels good to be back in that type of vibe.
Yeah, it's nonstop, man. Nonstop progression, man. And we studying too. That's the best part. Like we learning stuff as we go. Where we about to turn this thing into, man, it's crazy, because we learning skills, and those skills are y'all gonna be able to see it. Yeah, I think that's the best part. Like people have come with us this whole way. Like when we started this, right, it was like a step and repeat, and Ian was in a chair, and now it's grown to something that's crazy. Like when we started Earning Leisure, it was cell phones, and now we got, you'll see tomorrow, that top of the line camera work. You know what I'm saying? So like the things that we're learning, the things that we're gonna be applying, man, I hope it's an inspiration for everybody that's watching. Because like like we always say, like it's gonna be tough for you to be LeBron James. Like you probably can't be him, right? Like he's been gifted that from God. But chances are, like, if you watch the things that we implement, you can duplicate it in a sense that works for you. You're not going to be us, but you could be you and use some of these things.
But even with the LeBron thing, what about you? What was he? Was LeBron gifted that, or because I can name maybe 15 players at one time that had the same build as LeBron, but didn't have the same work ethic.
Well, yeah, his work ethic
too.
He outlasted every single person that came in his draft class because of his work ethic. So, it's a combination. I even look at, even what we do, like we've been gifted with some talents, some God-given abilities. What is that's going to take you so far. Talent can only take you so far. Hard work is going to put you over the top.
Yeah.
What about you? What's yours?
Yeah. Man, somewhere there's a kid right now wanting this spot. I'm going to tell you, man, just focus on getting the highest returns possible. For me, my secret has been relentless, stubborn as dedication to being great at one thing. Yes, I'm trying to get better at the media. Yes, I'm trying to be more personable and not rant as much, right? But for me, everyone that has gotten to a place that I want to be in, they always tell me the same thing. Like, if you have that one, and I see what you got. I told you, I was going to intern. It was time to go in the lobby. I'm like, bro, I'm tired. Thank God I can trade. I'd have been 5 day one. Abdullah, boy, hey, I don't know how y'all do it.
Shout out to the lobby boys.
Right?
Shout out to the lobby boys.
Doing, I owe you a call, right? Different, but mastery of craft. I'll tell you this. They plant certain information, because I have a chance to talk to entrepreneurs from all walks of life, all across the world. A lot of the information that we get told, like multiple streams and you have to be good at a whole bunch of things, no other culture gets told that but us. Even regardless of what you think about Grant. Grant has mastered selling and build an audience so he can then, me and Grant in the same business, aggregation of people to then capitalize off it by turning it into money and making you money. That's why I can see what Gary's trying to do with the NFT thing. I see that's a hedge fund move. A record label is a hedge fund. For those of you get them advances, they are a bank. But you may be the paper to them, or they want to treat artists like that. And even what you guys were talking about in Miami and LA, like I was out with Weezy and Alex and Emily, and I'm working on the show notes at lunch. And people are like, why are you doing that? And I'm like, most people don't. They're like, no, everybody mailed their podcast in. And I'm like, that's why they haven't had the impact. Focus on the crafts. I know some of you want to be seen and want to be in media. Most of the people that you see in media have no money. How do I know? Because when we go into our meetings
Steve
talking
Harvey.
like, go ahead.
Harvey talked about that. Steve Harvey talked about that tomorrow.
I'm being real.
It's not what you think it is. It's really not.
Okay, can I? Oh, I'm gonna calm down. Can I actually graciously and kindly? Of all the podcasts that you guys know, how many of them are actually profitable?
Not a lot.
10 bands, 50 bands, 100 bands. They don't got it.
Not a lot, man. Not a lot.
Focus on your craft. And if you do that, man, for those of you that can actually trade, long-term invest, you don't have to compete with anybody because there's so much money out there for you. And that's why I always tell Don P, everybody in Dream Team, Lindsay, happy belated birthday. I love you. I'm like, if I'm not getting 5,000-6,000% return a month, like I'm not doing my job. My job is to be on the court. When I was coming up, and same thing, when I fell down, my mom was like, listen, I need you to quit bullshitting. Excuse my language. Je ne sais quoi parlez-vous. I need you to quit playing and get one thing down. And when you get that one thing down, I'm like, all right, I'm going to try it for 1 year. Tried it for 1 year and never stopped. So even when we was out in London, we'd go out and party, a bottle pop. You guys saw it in my story, 4 a.m., right back on the charts, 5-6 hours. 4 hours here. Don't give up on that. And when people tell you don't master one thing, that's because they do not want you to pass them up. That's it. That is the blueprint.
There you have it. So let's go. But before one last thing I'm gonna say about that is, you either go to bed late or you get up early. Depending. Me, I'm not really a morning person, so I go to bed late. I'm up till like 4, 3, 2 o'clock in the morning. Some people I know is up at 4:30. Mark Wahlberg, they say he's up at 4 o'clock in the morning working out.
Yeah, I push it back to like 6 now.
You either go to bed late or you wake up early. You can't go to bed early and wake up late.
My dad used to say you can't. What did he say? You can't hoot with the Owls and rise with the Eagles. I used to hate when he told me that. He was right. He was right. You gotta pick one. You gotta
choose wisely.
You gotta pick one. You can't sleep your life away. Yeah. Pillow huggers. Pillow huggers.
And even though the partying and celebrating, a lot of that is to mask the pain of not hitting the goals that you wanted to hit. Because people are like, man, you don't never want to go out. You don't never want to kick it. I'm like, I don't know what kind of brown y'all drank before, but the one I drank had me sick for 3 days. I'm good. Maybe you can recover in 20 minutes. I can't. I'll be hungry 5-6 days. I'm cool. I'm a lightweight. But I saw people weren't happy once they come off that high or from being drunk. And ultimately, they wanted the feeling of being celebrated, but didn't have the achievement. And, you know, we're getting older. When men don't hit certain marks by 35, 40, the depression that hits men, different, because no one really loves men for just being men unconditionally. It's what do you bring to the table? Even every conversation, Ian, I love you, man. I love you for the culture. I wish you would quit ranting, but I rock with the rants. What you think of these 5 stocks? You don't even ask how I'm doing. That's the journey of being a man, though. Yeah. I see it with y'all. Hey, how I get my podcast popping? Do one every day, every week. It's like rap. You got to put in your time. So for the men, if you feel like the world is beating up on you or giving up on you and you haven't hit your mark, ask, are you working on a thing that you want to be great at every single day? Quit gaming, quit going out. Just try for a year. I promise you, your life will change for the better. And everybody in Red Panda has done it. And if it's worked well for you, put change in chat. Just stay focused. And I see it with B, Abdullah, Jaleel. Like, you have to laser focus in on that one thing and give everything else up, man. Everything else up.
Yes.
35 is a key age.
A change gonna come like Sam Cooke.
Yeah.
This that Red Panda anthem.
Ian, what's up?
This that Red Panda anthem.
Red Panda, what's good?
Red Panda anthem.
Your
Whole
boy.
clip going up.